Humanity was always a little weird. Right from the time we were uncivilized and lived like animals to where we are right now, the weirdness hasn't gone away. There are no limits to how mankind can do bizarre things. In that context, we'll look into some bizarre siege war situations of history. Siege warfare is a peculiar technique in warfare, where the attackers will surround the other party, so to block them with a wall of soldiers in all directions. The attackers will hold up a strong defensive position, slowly advancing towards the enemy, while the party against them is normally the one in a compromised position who is not ready to surrender and will keep fighting the approaching siege warriors. In this kind of war, anything can happen. The attackers will play various tactics to defeat the other's strength. It may be weapons, deception, or even mental games. The weapons used in such siege wars are generally cruel and scary. However, today we're going to look into 5 crazy bizarre weapons which were used in siege wars. Number 1. Quicklime. Yeah, you heard that right. Quicklime or calcium oxide was used in siege wars. This technique is carefully done with a lot of preparations. Calcium oxide is first ground into a powder form in large quantities. They are filled in pots that will be thrown at the enemies during the war. In the impact of the throw, the pots will be shattered and the powder will rise and spread in the air. Wind will also help in spreading the powder. This causes choking and suffocation in the soldiers. The powder can also get into their eyes and turn into a mortar material which can literally turn them blind. So this simple powder can become really dangerous when used in war. There are stories where blinded soldiers panicked and killed each other, which made the other party win without doing anything else. In land siege warfare, quicklime was used this way. However, if in water, the same turns into another weapon which is known as Greek fire. When quicklime comes in contact with water, it becomes a thermal weapon. It explodes and puts the place on fire. So, quicklime becomes a flaming liquid in a sea war. This technique was first founded by the Arabs in their wars. As per history, the Greek fire was taken to Constantinople, Greece, by Callinicus in 660 AD, who was an architect from Heliopolis in Syria. Greek fire became more popular in Greek wars and started being used widely in their region very soon. Number 2. Bees. Now it seems pretty weird, but yes, bees were used. In medieval times, honey was used for all kinds of sweetening purposes, so bee farming or apiculture was so common among people. This made it easy to think of a war weapon out of this. Bees will be taken along with the beehives and stuck in the wall, which is used as a defense. As the attacking party reaches the wall, they will use their swords and sharp weapons to break the wall. Actually, they're disturbing the beehives, causing a bee attack for themselves. Without saying, we know that bees can be pretty nasty when it comes to stinging their enemies. When bees get under your armor, they sting the back of your neck and anywhere possible. The warriors will panic. They might drop their weapons. They might break their formation. The whole scene will get into a mess, which makes it easy for the other party to attack and win the war. In 1289, Duke Albert I of Austria led a war with 15,000 soldiers. Their target was the possessions of the Kozegi family, who had castles and fortresses. In this private war, as the army crashed into the walls of the fortresses, they faced an unanticipated attack: the bees. It's said that Duke Albert lost the war only because of bees. Number 3. Toilets. Yes, toilets are another siege weapon that was used by kings of medieval times. This is not generally an active weapon. This is used as a passive defensive weapon. Some castles were built in such a way that the toilet plumbing lines are the only visible pathway in, so enemies get confused and see a totally covered building with only a toilet pipe to go in. It's said that brave soldiers have actually crawled up these pipes and found the way to castles and defeated the target. Not always, though. A toilet in a castle could simply be a board projecting over the walls with a hole cut in it that allowed waste to fall below. In France, there was a medieval castle named Chateau Gallard, which was built in 1198. Richard the Lionheart had built this and was considered impenetrable at the time. Within 10 years of its competition, the castle had fallen into the hands of French King Philip II. His forces managed to enter and capture the castle's outer areas, but couldn't break through the central keep. One of his men found a castle toilet or garter robe in the wall. A soldier was sent up the narrow, feces-filled gap. He crawled up to the toilet, opened the window into the castle chapel, And let the French soldiers take the impregnable castle. A toilet pipe is not so much a weapon, but a horrible and smelly tactic to use. Number 4. Rocket cats. Imagine a cat being thrown at you which is strapped with fire. This is a rocket cat. Animals were used in siege warfare in this manner to burn and set fire to places where humans cannot reach. Cats were catapulted to castles, and they'll run around setting fire to the barn, hay, strays, and stuff. Birds were also used for this, usually crows or doves. Flying crow with magic fire has been mentioned in history as a siege war weapon. While there are many illustrations available in old records which showed these kinds of weapons, many argue that they were never used. As per the illustrations, the cat will be propelled over the walls with a rocket. There are records of fire pigs as well. When the city of Megara was besieged, those inside drove off the elephants outside by smearing pigs in oil and setting them on fire before releasing them from the city. These stories are bizarre, however. We will never know if there actually existed a rocket cat or a magic fire crow. Number 5. Dead bodies. This is the strangest warfare weapon that's ever been used in history. This is specific to one particular incident. The plague in the 14th century. History shows that plague did not enter Europe organically. It was simply not possible in those days. People had no way to travel so much. Faraway places were pretty isolated from each other, and diseases were automatically quarantined in a particular region where it starts. Eventually, those diseases die off. However, in the case of the plague, a biological warfare took it to Europe. While the plague was killing people among the Mongols in 1346, they had a war going on with the city of Kaffa in Crimea. While Mongol soldiers were dying of plague, they didn't want to retreat. Instead, they catapulted the diseased people to Kaffa. Literally, dead bodies were thrown at the enemies with a game plan of causing them the same disease which was killing thousands of Mongols. This was proved by historians, and Europe would have never faced the plague at all if this siege weapon was not used. So, those were the 5 bizarre weapons on my list. As I said, mankind was always bizarre and weird throughout history. What other crazy list would you want to know about? Comment down below and let us know. Thank you for watching, and until next time.